Good afternoon. Hope everybody had a good week. Welcome back to the underground. Welcome back to Goofy Investing, where we talk about investing in the stock market. This video is going to be tailored towards CROX and a follow-up review of my investment, my experience, and things to look forward to, and looking at a little bit of different angles with CROX. I think I put a video out a few weeks ago following up with their earnings or so, but this is going to be more of a long-term, a follow-up of how the investment is doing, how my share is doing, and how I got in, and where I see CROX moving forward, and more of a bigger picture type of idea. All right. So without further ado, CROX is at a 9.45 billion market cap. So this is considered a mid-cap company right now. And a mid-cap company, it's grown a couple billion in market cap or so. Let's pull up how I'm doing. All right, as far as before we get into the little details of stuff, let's pull up the portfolio and see how I'm doing. All right, pull this up real quick. All right, so as you can see, we're up 40% on the whole growth portfolio as a whole. As far as unrealized gains, this is to be expected. I think moving forward, I wouldn't expect this. I wouldn't be surprised if this number goes up more due to the positioning, and there'll be a lag in as far as when the gains will come, as and as averse to when I'm actually going into a position. And you'll see CROX as an example. We'll pull up my position in CROX and how I've actually positioned into that. And as you can see, this is one of the reasons why we're getting into the performance as a whole, as far as my investment in the CROX, because we're about to be at the year mark here. I started buying this stock June of 2023. And I've been positioning in ever since, from June to October of 2023. I built this position. I put a little bit of speed into it, but not too much. I gave myself a horizon of, okay, this is how long I think I'm going to be able to buy the stock, and this is how much I want to allocate and deploy towards it. So what ended up happening was, I was buying this thing all the way into June, and the shares actually started tanking, and I had the 10 G's invested capital, and the company was reporting good earnings, and the market was not respecting it and pushing it down. So I had decided to double my position up to 20 grand invested capital, as you can see. And I went from 100 shares to 200 shares. I lowered cost basis down to $100 a share ish. And I finished off this position in October. And since then, my total position gain and loss is at 54%. All right. So we put, a little over 20 G's in, and we're pushing a little less than 11 G's in actual gains. So that's good. All right. Growth. All right. The growth model for CROX and the performance thereof. All right. We'll look at, let me see here, earnings. We'll go to earnings estimates. On my actual growth model, and I'll pull up this projection model in a bit, but looks like everything's on track. They beat earnings. They overbeat on earnings. They actually slammed earnings. So stock is up. I'm not surprised. I've been saying this for a while, that this stock will be running because it's so undervalued. And I think it's possible by the end of the year we hit 200, depending on market sentiment and the future earnings to give and some interest rates and so forth. What am I banking on for their growth trajectory? How are we going to get from a 10 billion, or right now where we're at, 10 billion ish market cap, to 30 billion, and these big double digit numbers? Okay, I'll tell you how we're going to get there. All right, it's going to be through total addressable market in the international growth sector. We're going to have to depend on, sure, hey dude, has some growth to be had in the United States, and that's good. All right, that'll contribute to it. But our main CROX product, like the clogs and so forth, a lot of the field expand is going to be due to the expansion of our international sector. All right, Australia and China, triple digit growth. All right, I, I project within the next 5 years, I think the growth will explode internationally. I think that people in other countries are not as comfortable um, in their own skin as Americans, and I think that this Western trend will expand over to the East. The comfortable living lifestyle. You know, um, self-expression and so forth. Whatever you want to call it, people in the East want it. All right. Um, they're probably so stressed out, because of communism or whatever. They want some self-identity and expression, and they want to be comfortable. They want to live more comfortably. So I think that the Crocs brand can fuel and satisfy that need. All right. So long-term catalysts. What do we have to look forward to with Crocs? All right. And what does this company have to offer as an investment, as a potential investment going forward? Okay, well, um, S&P 500 inclusion. All right now, and this changes. Okay, they'll update inclusionary standards and so forth. But as of right now, it's about $15 billion market cap. You got to be profitable, have so many quarters of profitability. We check a lot of those boxes, all right? But we don't check the market cap box. And I think a double from here is, doable in 5 years easily. And I'll pull up my price target projections and how we're doing. But here's one catalyst we have to look forward to: S&P 500 inclusion. Okay, funds will start pouring into the stock and pushing the stock up as they get their inclusion. All right, this is years from now. I think maybe 2-3 more years. Maybe it's realistic that we're looking at this. Okay, two. This is not really something I'd like to talk about because I don't want it to happen. Not anytime soon, anyway. In several years, I want it to happen. Oh man, dare I say, if this company starts a dividend, okay, that'll open up a whole new class of investors to come into the stock. All right, um, and I've done some analysis on this before, and I've got some comments on Seeking Alpha and so forth, and back and forth with other investors. I pretty much want this company to, 4 or 5x before they even consider starting a dividend, cleaning up that balance sheet, and the growth saturation. After we saturate Asia and so forth, maybe 7 more years we could talk about a dividend. But I'm a long-term investor in CROX. Even though I have 5-year out price targets, that doesn't necessarily mean that's my exit year. All right, I consider CROX to be a long-term hold over 5 years, but to be reviewed up to their debt maturities. Okay, so what I mean by that is their debt maturities, before they come, I want to see the status of their balance sheet, their cash flows, how much debt they got left, and so forth. All right, and interest rates. There's going to be a lot of things that determine what I'm going to do with the stock. Because I tell you what, if they're not prepared and they hit a debt maturity wall, stock's going to get crushed. All right. So that's something that I'm on the lookout for. They have plenty of time though. I think 2029 February is when the maturities hit on their debts. So and in this channel we'll be following up. This channel hopefully will be here unless something happens to me between then. Hopefully none. Knock on wood, right? But we'll be here for that. Right. So let me pull up the price target projections. This is an updated price target projection as of their last earnings, but um, started when I started into this position. So I think they're on track. I think Crocs is on track to hit this model. In fact, I think it's possible that they hit the bull case. All right, they beat on earnings for Q1 or so. We'll get into Q2. It's just a matter of if they're going to do 4% or 5%. I got on my bull case, I got them doing 5%. And these are projections. These are on my base case, a conservative projection. I got them doing 4% this year. Analysts, will go to earnings. Analysts got them doing 4.64%. So on my own, even on my own projections, on my base case, I'm under analyst projections, and that's just on to be on the safe side. All right. And here's my price targets for year end 2028. Um, you know, they can land, very possible that they land at 400, 500 a share. If they hit the bull case, I'm thinking more a little over the 500 a share mark in this territory. Um, but yeah, that's the exciting part, to see if our investment thesis will hold and see if they hit these targets. All right, and that's if that is true, I'll pull out the calculator. Let's say it's 500. Oops, let me minimize this a little bit. Bear with me. Let's say the Crocs is in 2028, they're 500 a share. Well, I own 200 shares, so that puts me at 100 grand in my position. All right, so that's 10% of one of my targets to a mil. All right, going back to the portfolio, we are at that 40% gain, however, unrealized gain, but we're closing in on the 100G mark. All right, we're closing in, and we're going to consolidate. You know, we're going to end up exiting these options for PayPal. I'm going to give that a little bit longer. We'll see if I can get an exit out of there and start consolidating more towards 6 stock position for 100 Gs. So we're closing in on that 6-figure mark. That'll probably happen this year, unless some crazy market crash happens or whatever. You never can tell, but whatever. We'll be ready for it. And that's pretty much my plan. If you're getting value out of these videos, consider subscribing. Check out my Patreon. Check out the Looney Syndicate and what it has to offer. I already got people starting to sign up for that thing, and you'll get great exclusive access, or exclusive content, access to community, spreadsheet, investor spreadsheet products, and more. All right. So with that being said, thank you all for your time. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your weekend.